For Storm Team 2 forecast. But first, the cold weather and some good news concerning creatures who sometimes become the victims of the cold. Kelly King with our first of 5 top stories tonight, the campaign that Kelly appears to be working.
Katie, actually, I received a call from a viewer today concerned about some animals out in the cold. So that's why I went to the Animal Resource Center. And they want to remind you to keep little guys like this warm in the cold. But what I saw wasn't typical of this winter.
Usually we get quite a few calls.
The Animal Resource Center says every year when the mercury drops, they see an increase in calls for pets left out in the cold. But not this year. The Animal Resource Center says actually the number of calls they've received this winter for dogs out in the cold is down. While he doesn't have exact numbers, Director Mark Kumpf attributes the decline to the center's push to properly care for animals and responsible pet owners.
People are bringing the dogs in when there's a prediction of a winter storm.
Kumpf says every time a call comes in, an officer is sent to investigate.
They start from the concept that they're going to find an animal that's in neglectful or unfit conditions, and they work from that premise.
He says every call is treated seriously while an officer determines what's really going on.
And sometimes what that means is we'll go out to a house half a dozen times and they end up being unfounded calls.
Kumpf says while watchful passerbys mean well, they may only be getting a snapshot of what's actually happening.
What they can't see around the corner is there's a dog door that goes into the garage and the dog comes and goes as it pleases.
How many unfounded calls versus legitimate calls do you get?
We don't track those types of numbers.
Still, the Animal Resource Center prefers people call to be safe rather than sorry.
But if we don't get the call, that would be the one where the dog freezes to death.
And actually, my little guy out here is whining because he is cold. The Animal Resource Center says best practice is to always bring your puppies inside. And if they have to be outside, though, make sure they have enough food and water and shelter.
Kelly, your little guy is cute, or girl, I'm sorry. So first, Kelly, what is your dog's name? And second, we heard Kumpf say something about this. We don't want to dissuade people from calling. So what happens if the call turns out to be unfounded?
Okay, so my dog's name is Alfie, first of all. Second of all, Kumpf said, yeah, there are calls that are unfounded. However, he'll just go out to the house, make sure the dog is properly being taken care of, thank the owner for actually taking care of the dog, and then make sure it's licensed. They'll leave, and then they'll call the caller back and tell them the situation.
All right, Kelly and Alfie, thank you so much. Now, get Alfie inside. Kelly, thank you.
Thank you.